Fox Sports.
We are Black. We are Florida.
This homestand has brought a flurry of tape measure shots from Giancarlo. That ball's driven left center deep towards the sculpture. Goal! Giancarlo again. That was yesterday. What will he hit today? Marlins and Giants.
On a late afternoon in Miami, it's baseball time. Marlins Park, big crowd expected. Game 3, a 4 o'clock start on a Saturday. The Giants of San Francisco, the Marlins of Miami, and each team has taken a game so far in this 4-game series. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, joined by Cliff Floyd, along with Tommy Hutton. And for Giancarlo Stanton, it's almost an everyday thing right now.
Right. You know what I like about him the most is he's swinging the pitches in the strike zone. He's giving himself a chance every time he steps in the batter's box, and that's what it's all about. Is you look at his April, he was swinging, he's out on his front foot. He wasn't giving himself a chance. He wasn't staying back. In May, just like he did last year, he sort of stayed. The batter's staying through the zone, and he's hitting tape measure home runs.
And Tommy, he's doing some damage, as they say.
Well, sort of. Not quite yet. I think in his next contract, he's going to have an insurance clause just in case. But think about the home runs, the one off Jamie Moyer, off the scoreboard. They did get it fixed, but look at that scoreboard. It's worth $800,000. How about the next home run off Vogelsong? This one landed on the bar in the Budweiser balcony. Look at $300,000 if there had been some serious damage up there. And the one he hit last night against Tim Lincecum went toward the home run sculpture, which is worth over $2 million. Red Grooms wouldn't have been happy, but everything's okay. But you got to look for that insurance clause in his next contract.
And Cliff, I think impressively, it's not just home runs. He's driving the ball to center. He's driving to right center.
Yeah, he's driving the ball to right center, as you mentioned. He's standing on the ball, curveballs. I like that about him because the one thing we saw that he's swinging a lot of curveballs in the dirt. Now these balls are up a little bit, and he's staying on them. But, I mean, you know what, Tom? If they would have gave me something to hit when I was hitting in Sun Life, maybe I could have hit a couple sculptures.
No, you couldn't. Not right then.
Let's take a look at the starting pitchers. The lefties are on the menu for this afternoon. Madison Bumgarner, Mark Buehrle.
Bumgarner's tough, and a lineup kind of pieced together by Ozzie. Buehrle's only faced the Giants a couple of times in 03 and 08.
So you like this matchup, Cliff? It's lefties today.
Yeah, I definitely like it. Of course I like my Buehrle because you know what you're going to get. He's going to get the opportunity to win a ball game. He's going to stay in the ball game, and the boys swing the bat a little bit. They might come out with a victory.
We'll see. It's been an exciting series so far. A series of comebacks and near comebacks. June is around the bend. The Marlins trying to continue what is a record-setting May.
Marlins and Giants moments away. Let's go out to center field. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine.
All right, thank you very much, Rich, and good afternoon again, everybody. Getting some baseball going. The Marlins having a great month of May, which is really good because do we have to look at June?
Ooh, June is looking a tad bit scary. Glad the Marlins are doing well this month because they're going to have their hands full next month.
Well, you want to be playing great baseball when you go into this month, and the Marlins, almost no matter what, are going to be doing that. They've already set a mark here. But now, the yellow or the home games, and you look at the teams they're playing, it's a who's who list of contenders for playoffs. And the Jays might be the only one that wouldn't be a top contender, and they've really been a very good team over the last few years, too.
Yeah, they're just unfortunately in a really tough division. Even the Red Sox, who are only one game under 500 right now, but they had a horrible start. They're coming back playing much better baseball. Tampa Bay is going to be there. Atlanta's going to be there. The Phillies obviously are going to be there. So you're facing excellent teams in June. Not to say the Marlins aren't going to have a winning record. You're not setting them up for failure, but they're really going to have to be on top of their game to come out of June with a winning record.
21 games combined over 500, and the only team that's not over 500 is the Red Sox. And you know how good they are, although they're a game under 500 right now and very well will be over 500 by the time the Marlins meet them 6 times in June. All right, big story for this ball game, something to watch. It's got to be an exciting moment for Donovan Solano. He seems like a pretty cool cucumber, but Jeff, when you're going to a position that you're not used to playing at all, how much pressure on him today to play left field?
You know what? It's very nerve-wracking. I only spent like 10 days in left field before I made my first start in Kansas City in left field, and it's different. You know, you're not in batting practice. You're not relaxed. It's for real. You got balls coming at you that you don't see really hit like they do in batting practice. So, but he's been working out there hard. Gary Thurman says he's a good athlete. He's been doing a good job.
Keep an eye on him. It's going to be fun for him making a start for the Marlins in left. Bumgarner Burley. It's a lefty-lefty Saturday afternoon matchup. Richard Tommy with the call next.
Mark Burley is. Pinch a penny brings you the first pitch as Burley gets set to deliver to the left-handed hitter Gregor Blanco. Burley misses high. It is 1-0. Mark Burley making start number 10. He's at 4-4, an ERA in the low 3s. And that pitch popped up, foul, and out of play.
Burley has put it together nicely. His first 5 games, if you remember, he didn't pitch all that badly, but he was 1-4. His next games, he's 1-4. So 4-4 overall. Mark Burley will keep everybody off balance, and that's his game plan all the time.
Little slap roller. Reyes hustling, got it, throws, safe at first. Gregor Blanco beats it despite a terrific play by Jose Reyes, and the Giants continue to get the top of their order on base. Blanco has 6 hits already in this series.
The one guy we see do that a lot is Bonifacio. And Blanco, with that play, is almost halfway out of the box as he slaps it, has some speed. And Reyes did everything right, just couldn't get it.
Yeah, he did. And, I guess with Blanco in that situation, I mean, you have to be table setters. And when getting on base early in the game is always key, especially for a Giants lineup that hasn't been hitting a lot, but hitting a lot lately.
One guy that's not in that lineup, Brandon Crawford. In the 2 spot, it's Ryan Terrio. Melky Cabrera is on deck. It's the top of the order for the Giants. In this one, the Marlins winners by a 7-6 score. Last night, Burley to the plate. And he misses high. The count's now 2-0. Now, Burley early in the season was pitching great and wasn't getting run support. His last 2 starts, he gave up 4 runs in each of them, but he got a slew of runs. He got 15 runs in run support.
That's the one thing with baseball. It's so funny. You just never know, and I think that's why when you was when the Marlins were struggling in April, it was sort of that. Well, you want the offense to come around because you don't want to waste these pitching opportunities, and at some point the pitch is going to come back down to earth. And as you see lately, it's been coming down a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. Last time through the rotation for each of the 5 starters, not the best of starts. Burley's fallen behind 3-0, and he's going to go to first and chase Blanco back. Giants have been active on the bases. They have run against the Marlins. Marlins have run against the Giants in this series.
That's sort of both of these teams' MO. To run a little bit, put the ball in play, hitting runs.
Mark Burley throws a strike, and now it's 3-1. And if the Giants are interested in running, which not many people are against Mark Burley, we'll see if Bruce Bochy puts the game in motion. Burley, one of the best pickoff moves in the game.
He picked me off a couple times before.
Just a couple?
Just a couple. Well, you can't run against certain guys like that. You have to make sure you're going to get a good jump.
Terrio pulls it. Hanley digs it. Out there, the turn. Oh, what a turn in time. Omar Infante, the feed from Hanley Ramirez, and the Marlins get a big double play.
A couple of really nice things happen right here. First of all, Hanley, I don't know if early in the year he makes this backhand pick and plants so he can get something on the throw. The throw a little low, but Infante has a way of just picking it, and look at how quickly he turns and something on the throw.
Yeah, these guys getting a lot of opportunities to work together now because in spring training they didn't get that opportunity as much. But they got them out there enough in spring training so they can get the feel of one another, and that's what you have to do when you have a new position for Hanley and then, not working together from third base, that double play combo.
As the dust settles from that double play, it's worth noting that Melky Cabrera is not only the hottest hitter on the planet, but he absolutely eats Mark Burley alive. Cabrera, in his career, is 17.
Hey, if you're afraid of things, don't look at these numbers.
17 of 27. He's hitting .630.
I'm telling you, it's such a feeling. It is. It's such a feeling to have that when you're going against a pitcher. You feel so good in the box.
He got him.
Save the ball. Get the ball for Burley.
There will now be a brief ceremony in front of the mound. Mark Burley gets to the first. and a good crowd. A 4 o'clock start on this Saturday afternoon. The Marlins will come to the plate in this orderly fashion against Madison Bumgarner. Jose Reyes leads it off. Omar Infante is at second base. Hanley Ramirez at third. Giancarlo Stanton likes life right now in the cleanup spot. Logan Morrison behind him. Donovan Solano in left field. His first big league start in a position he's played one game professionally in the outfield. Chris Coughlin knows how that feels. He's in center. John Buck is a catcher, and Burley will hit ninth.
And I'll tell you, Rich, not an easy assignment. 22-year-old Madison Bumgarner, you see the numbers, good year, 2.85 ERA. Kind of a slinger, whips the ball, could be tough on left-handers. And a first-round pick of the Giants fits in with a terrific rotation that has kept them where they are right now.
And it was his emergence that really allowed the Giants to trade Jonathan Sanchez for the incredibly hot Melky Cabrera. Bumgarner made his arrival just in time in late 2010, and he was a very good postseason pitcher that World Championship season. Reyes hits a fly ball down the right field line. Blanco is tracking it, and he's there, and he almost overran it. And he makes the catch.
Let's take a look at the defense for the Giants this afternoon. Melky Cabrera, Pagan, and Blanco, they've been out there all the game so far. Arias at third. Emmanuel Burris gets the start at short. Terrio and Brett Pill on the right side. Buster Posey's caught all 3 games so far.
And here is Infante. In this ball game, you've got 2 of the top 6 hitters in the National League in terms of average. Infante at 340 right now is 6th in the National League. And a fastball that misses down low.
I just love the way Infante just, he has a professional bat every single time. His bat head is staying through the zone. He looks so comfortable at the plate, and it's always good, of course, when you're hitting 340. But, it's just awesome to see he's always giving himself a chance to get on base early. As he makes the first out.
Tapper down to Arias, who throws out to first in time to get him. What's the scouting report say on Madison Bumgarner?
Well, we're going to show you. We're going to check on the scouting report. Brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. You see that real easy deliberate delivery. He has a big breaking curveball. Not a bad hitter either when he steps in to hit.
Hanley Ramirez. Hanley 1 for 7 in this series. The big pop obviously has come from Giancarlo Stanton in this series with the 2 homers and 5 hits. Stanton has driven in 5 runs. And the Marlins last night finally got some oomph from the bottom of their order. Hanley takes a strike. Last night, especially in that key 6th inning. A walk to Morrison, Brian Peterson a base hit, John Buck a sac fly, and then Chris Coughlin, maybe the most impressive of the swings, the 3-run homer. And that chased Tim Lincecum. Marlins went on to win the ball game, hold on late, and win it 7-6.
And jumped Lincecum's ERA up to 6.41.
He hasn't looked good at all this season. And, you can't pinpoint one thing, but I think the one thing I liked about the Marlins last night moving forward was the fact that they had a plan. His fastball, he pretty much didn't have a good command with. And his breaking pitch was the one that they was, just all over last night. And that's one thing you have to have when you're facing guys that, to shut you down, as he did early in the game. You have to stay with the game plan, which was later in the game. He got his curveball over the plate a little bit, and it was shellacking.
Pitch misses in. As an example, the Marlins have 94 walks in the month of May, and that is best in the National League. Arizona has 83, Atlanta 83, the Mets 83, and the Giants 82. Those are the most patient teams this month. Hanley goes down. Bumgarner gets a strikeout. Crossfire lefty. And a 1-2-3 first for the Fish. Brought to you by H.H. Gregg. In Miami, scoreless ball game. Mark Burley, Buster Posey, and Burley misses outside. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Cliff Floyd with us in the booth at Coventry Healthcare, second inning. Burley gave up an infield hit to Gregor Blanco, and that's it. He's got Posey, Angel Pagan, and Brett Hill. That ball to left field is hit pretty well, and Solano is back, and he makes the catch. Now, the story with Solano is this. One game in the outfield in single A. They told him he was going to play left field. He's had a day to prepare. He doesn't have a glove, so he had to borrow Emilio Bonifacio's outfield glove.
Yeah, well, I like the idea because, I guess one thing it does, it helps you keep everything, keep them versatile, and it helps the club in terms of going out there. And all the boys on the team are probably saying, listen, just go out there, catch the ball, make the basic play, and keep it moving, and don't worry about if we dive for a ball, it's 50-50 for even a normal outfielder. So I think he'll be fine. If you get that bat going, you have to find a place on the play.
I think as an infielder, all he has to do is make that routine play, get the ball back in as quickly as possible to the cutoff man.
That's it.
Well, the funny thing is when I went to ask him in the locker room if he had played any outfield, he said, no, not at all. And I looked next to him, and there was Chris Coughlin, and I said, well, just ask Coughlin because he went through the same thing. And Cogs looked over with a big smile and said, yep. When he got to the big leagues, he got one game at second base, and then Coughlin was in left field at Coors Field, a lifelong infielder playing the outfield.
It's a big place to play the outfield.
That ball pulled foul and out of play. A long one off the bat of Angel Pagan. And Pagan's been one of those Giants, Tommy, that has really hurt the fish in this series.
All you have to do is look at what Blanco and Cabrera and Pagan, what they've done. And Pagan, 4 hits out in front of a changeup.
Reyes rushes it to first and gets the out. So 2 outs for Mark Burley here in the second. Of course, this series concludes tomorrow. Then on Monday, on Memorial Day at 1 o'clock, a 3-game series with the Nationals starts here at Marlins Park. It's a Memorial Day edition of an Outback Military Monday. And on Wednesday, fans get an Emilio Bonifacio t-shirt courtesy of Leon Medical Centers. Marlins.com for tickets or 1-877-Marlins. Here's Pill, the big first baseman. He pops it up. Morrison comes to the rail, and it's out of play.
Rich, those promos a little tougher with Burley pitching, aren't they?
Absolutely. In fact, I did not even read that word for word. You pick sentences, you read the sentences, and you move on because Burley's ready to go.
As a defender, you love him. You love him, especially he's going to help Solano. He's going to help all the guys because he keeps you in the ball game, keeps you on your toes, and you have to, you keep the game quick, keep the game moving. You keep guys in the game and in the moment.
What does it do to a hitter?
Oh, it frustrates you because now you have to, first you have to know the umpire, the home plate umpire's name, and so you can say, oh, hey, Mark, hold on, give me time out for a second, just so you can slow down and keep him, keep him honest.
Got in on him. Solano went back. Now comes charging in. Hey, no problem. Left field in the big leagues.
Piece of cake.
I'm all over it. Whatever it takes to get in the lineup for Donovan Solano, and everybody's having a good time with him. Coming up, Giancarlo Stanton. I suggest you stay where you are.
Marlins Béisbol en Español es presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
In Miami, Marlins and Giants scoreless. Even Lil Wayne wants to come out.
Louise.
Wants to come out and see Giancarlo swing the stick.
Yeah, you got the little tank top on, each chilling. Miami Vice style.
Stanton, a bullet, and it's to the left of Arias, and it's going to the wall. We talked about that the other day. Someone asked, are you impressed with all these tape measure homers? What's even more impressive are the balls that he hits to the left of a third baseman that get to the wall, or to the left of the shortstop on the ground that get to the wall. Watch this.
And Gapper he hit into left center a couple of weeks ago. This one, you figure, okay, it's just by the third baseman. Well, the left fielder, Cabrera, can't even cut it off, and it goes to the wall, and Stanton has himself a stand-up double. By the way, if I'm Lil Wayne, I'm not wearing a tank top around Stanton.
No, you definitely not. But, you know, those balls he's hitting, I mean, as an outfielder, you try to get the angle. He doesn't give you an angle. That's the one thing about Stanton is he's hitting those balls so hard, and Lucky has no chance to get to those balls. You think you do because it's a normal hit, and that's your reaction.
All right, here's an interesting at-bat. Logan Morrison has been struggling, and he's been pulling the ball a lot. But he's in an at-bat now where he probably wants to pull the ball against a lefty that he's actually had some success against, Madison Bumgarner.
This game will drive you nuts. And Logan Morrison, all BP, I watched him. He really had some good swings. But he was staying back and trying to hit everything the other way. Now he's in an at-bat where he really shouldn't try to do that. He should try to pull a ball.
Right. You know, I guess every once in a while you wanna face the lefties because it keeps you honest as a left-handed hitter. It keeps that right shoulder in and gives you a chance to stay on the ball. If you're pulling off, you saw him last night again. Lindstrom struck out a couple times. Balls away, he was pulling off the ball. Tonight, this gives him a chance. Today, this gives him a chance to stay on the ball with Bumgarner on the mound. Just so you can just keep you honest, keep you feeling good, and he's big to this lineup, especially when you need the power at the bottom, as we talked about.
Well, Morrison and Coughlin good against Bumgarner. Coughlin 2 for 3. Morrison 3 for 6. Stanton, by the way, is now 5 for 7 with 4 doubles against Bumgarner.
He may not see a good pitch to hit the rest of the day, especially if they're men on base.
Well, I wouldn't pitch to him if I was Bumgarner. I would take my chances.
Which is the importance of getting Logan Morrison going in the 5 spot. He got a pitch to pull, and he hit it hard.
I think the interesting thing about Lomo, the puzzling thing, I guess would be a better way to put it, is that he hit .310 in April. And remember, he didn't have consecutive starts a lot because the ball club was being real careful with his knee. But he hit .310 in April.
And you have to be consistent. I mean, that's the one thing with Lomo that you're looking for, consistently staying, on the field, consistently staying in the strike zone. And that's how you get better throughout the season, especially when you're dealing with a knee issue because you don't have your legs as you would want your legs to be there. And that's what Ozzie, when you hear Ozzie talk about giving them that 2-month period to go through, resting them out the flights, giving them day off, day game out the night game. That helps you, especially, when you're going through low-mo situation. It's always tough, so I give them credit for battling through these type of situations.
Best opportunity for either team early in this ball game. A leadoff double by Giancarlo Stanton, his 12th of the season. Morrison stayed on the breaking ball, and the count is 2-2. Bumgarner is 5-3. And as Tommy pointed out, he's just 22. He made 33 starts last year. In the minor leagues, he was 34-6.
And it didn't take him long to get here.
With an ERA of an even 2. Comes a 2-2 pitch. Morrison to left. Cabrera makes the catch. Stanton bluffs. And there's an out. Here comes Solano. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. So here is Solano, and he's getting a start. Look at, he's 2 for 3, and that's the extent of his big league experience.
And it's tough. I mean, he was playing every day in AAA, and then you come up, and now your role changed. You have to adapt. And I think the one good thing that they have is Eduardo Perez was a role guy at some point in his career. Towards the end, he was a role guy, so he can help him in these situations and get him in a good routine. And that's what he's going to need, with the role he has. And he's not going to probably play every day, but he has to be ready when he's in there.
Bumgarner brings in a strike.
Left-handers are going to be tough on the Marlins over the next week or so, because with Austin Kearns out, with Gabby Sanchez in the minor leagues, those are two right-handed bats that you'd like to have in a lineup like today.
Yes, sir.
Bumgarner misses in with the fastball.
And good news, I checked on Gabby Sanchez and his stats in 6 games. He's 6 for 18, hitting
awesome.
.333, 7 walks, a .538 on base percentage.
Unfortunately, you have to go down sometimes, but I think it was definitely needed for Gabby, just to relax a little bit.
Line drive right center field. Donovan Solano is 3 for 4 in the big leagues, and he gives the Marlins a 1-0 lead.
Absolutely incredible. He's doing just what he did all spring training.
That's why defense doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, that guy had a fish-tastic sign. He hasn't had time to make one for Solano yet. Oh, this is just beautiful hitting. Looked like a little breaking ball. He let it get to him. Stayed inside. Bingo, RBI.
Right where you want to hit.
And an early run for the Marlins, a 1-0 lead against Madison Bumgarner. Here's Coghlan now. Chris with a big moment last night. The Marlins came back to tie the game dramatically in the 6th. Tim Lincecum was wobbling, and Lincecum hung a breaking ball, and Coghlan hit it out. His first homer of the year, his 2nd career homer against Lincecum.
Tell you what, Solano just saw the A move of Bumgarner. Just barely got back.
That would have got me, Tom. That's a great move.
Yeah,
that's Andy Pettit.
That's nasty. I mean, he looks like he's coming to the plate.
And that's one thing when you're over there first base, you have to give him that credit and stay there. It's tough to get a secondary lead when you have a guy like Bumgarner in that type of move.
Coghlan pops it foul and out of play. And here's Coghlan last night.
Cogs got that little hanging breaking ball from Lincecum. His first home run since last June against Arizona.
And Coghlan will get an opportunity to play. He has to take advantage of this. And that's how you take advantage of the opportunity. You go up there and you swing the bat and you have a plan. And like I talked about earlier, he saw Lincecum. All the guys saw Lincecum throwing his curveball up in the zone. And they swung at it. They swung at it and had good results.
Ground ball up the middle. Terrio gets it out there, and the relay's not in time. Manuel Burris, the shortstop, coming across the bag. Coghlan is aboard. There are 2 outs. Solano is erased, and here comes John Buck.
Yeah, first 2 games of this series, we saw Brandon Crawford, left-handed hitter. So Bruce Bochy gets the righty in there, Burris. Good hard slide, too, by Solano.
I love that. I love going hard at second base. It'll give you a chance to stay in there. You never know what happens with John Buck. Get the pitcher up.
Bumgarner over to first. Here's a look at the slide at second.
Perfect. Can touch the bag.
Still able to touch the bag.
That's what you have to do. The dugout's so loose. You love the dugout. They always smiling. Reds is always keeping it loose. That's why Solano's having a good time, man. All the guys come up and they feel like they're at home. And that's always a good feeling when you have a young bunch of guys that gives the opportunity to play. Reds is gonna always be laughing. I walked in the clubhouse today.
No, you played with Reds,
and
so
I played with him.
Like, yeah,
he has a good time every time he comes to the ballpark. Whether you down in and out, he'll always get you going. And you have to have those type of guys.
That's one thing you think about the guys that the Marlins added in the offseason. Reyes being Mr. Energy. Burley is as loose as they come. even when he's pitching, he's loose. He's not one of those uptight pitchers.
He's loose on the bench when he's pitching.
Yeah. And he's always on the bench. That's what I love. He's always supporting his teammates. And as you see Zambrano, he's always out there.
Buck takes in, and it's 1-1. And Zambrano has been, by all accounts, model citizen, great teammate, and upbeat, positive himself.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to him in spring training. I stopped the interview and had to say, "Hey, are you okay? Are you good?"
Buck hits a sharp ground ball. Burris at short gets the out at second. Inning over. A double by Stan and Donovan Solano. An RBI single. Made his big league debut, called up by the Marlins after a very good spring. And now all of a sudden he finds himself starting in a position he's never played before and driving in a run. I mean, it's not like they hit him in the 8th spot in the order. Solano was hitting 6th behind Logan Morrison and in front of Chris Coughlin and John Buck.
And one thing that he is going to have his eye on, Gary Thurman is positioned. He's going to stay at the very end of the dugout as close to Solano as he can get. And then when the inning starts, he'll get up a little higher, and he'll help him out with where to be. He'll let him know. Yeah, he's right there. He's as close to Solano as he can get.
It always helps, I'll tell you.
Joaquin Arias now. Emmanuel Burris, Madison Bumgarner. Thurman has his pupil position. Sharp one. Hanley, who has made all the plays over there at third base. That's one of the stories about the Marlins this year. And you don't hear about it nationally, but Hanley Ramirez has been one of the best fielding third basemen in the National League. Look at that.
It's like a non-story now. He's played the position so well.
And Polanco really hasn't played the entire season.
No, when you look at Hanley and how he accepted his role in spring training, I think that definitely helped, for the psyche of him and moving forward. It's like, I'm going to accept this, move forward, I want to win. And, it's showing.
Manuel Burris now, big lollipop curve from Burley for a strike. Burris, a switch hitter. One of 3 switch hitters in the Giants' order. Then you got Bumgarner. Burley trying to get through the bottom third of the order. That one hit down the line, and Solano over to get it. Around first, Burris trying for second. Here's the throw! And Infante been able to pick it. They may have had him.
We have seen on any left fielder, any outfielder, this a lot in these home games. Outfielders have to play a little bit deeper. And Solano plays it well. He backhands it, comes up with a strong toe. Just got a little short hop, though, to Infante. On the money, and I think he gets Burris.
Yes, he does.
Good effort.
If he doesn't short hop him, he's definitely out right there.
But on the other hand, the Giants are taking advantage. They know he hasn't been out there.
Well, you know what? I think at some point they keep taking advantage. They will get burned because that was a great play. That was a great great route to that ball, and it gave him a chance to make a good throw. But when you haven't been out there, that's the type of throw you get. But he has a strong arm, and that's one they see.
Right now, Bumgarner, who swings it from this side of the plate, chops it to Hanley, backs up on a couple of hops, and then flips across the diamond in time. Burris is still at second. Gregor Blanco comes up. Mark Burley gave up an infield single to him in the first inning. Matt Cain, Ricky Nolasco, a 12:30 start for Marlins Live, a 1 o'clock start for the final game of this 4-game series.
Didn't we see that matchup in San Francisco? Cain and Nolasco. I think it was a 2-1 game.
Be interesting to see how Ricky throws. Nolasco, of course, got career win number 69 and his 5th of the year, his last time out in beating the Rockies. 0-1 on Gregor Blanco. For the Giants, Blanco has to be a real pleasant surprise this year. A guy that did not play in the big leagues last year. He was in AAA with a couple of organizations. He's playing good defense. He's been getting on base. Smokes it into right field. That's a base hit. Burris round third coming home. Stanton with a good arm. Throw to the plate. He is safe. Buck got the ball there, but he couldn't beat him to the corner of the plate. And Burris slides in safely.
Burris got a great jump on that ball, and that's what you have to do. That's why Flanders sent 2 outs. You have to take that chance in that situation.
I'm about ready to put Gregor Blanco in the Hall of Fame right now. This guy's unbelievable. Strong throw, just a little offline, but you're right about Burris's jump. He was off and flying.
Yeah, it had to be a perfect throw to get him. And so Blanco 2 for 2, and he raced to second on the throw to the plate. And here is Terrio now. Burley with a 77-mile-an-hour changeup.
Blanco ups his average now to over 360 against the Marlins in about 70 at-bats.
Terrio bounced into a 5-4-3 double play his first time up. Smokes that one foul. And it's 0-2. Not a lot of the Giants have a lot of at-bats against Mark Burley. Terrio is now 4 for 14. They certainly met when the Cubs and White Sox played each other in interleague play.
I'm sure they all surrounded Melky Cabrera and said, what's he have?
And Melky probably has no clue because he goes up there blindfolded.
That's right.
Cabrera's on deck. Giants have scored. And a 1-2 coming to the Riot, Ryan Terrio.
It was amazing playing with the Riot in Chicago. They had the T-shirts, the Riot. I was like, what these shirts mean? Didn't put 2 and 2 together. I guess that's the high school education that I have. That I just didn't put the Riot and Terrio together because I didn't spell that. You know, it was spelled like that. But
well, the unique thing was that, I mean, the other guy on that other end of that double play combination, Mike Fontenot, they were teammates in college as well.
Well, you know, I played with both of them, so I heard the LSU stories every day.
Here's the 1-2. He lays off that changeup, which just missed. Burley's 2-2. And all of a sudden, Terrio isn't swinging at the changeup. And so now the count goes to 3-2.
It's one thing about, you know, when you have these type of players that the Giants have, they're pesky guys. You know, guys who are going to put the ball in play, hit the ball around a little bit. Those type of guys tend to give Burley a little bit of harder time because they always, you know, they always fouling off balls, tough pitches, and they get the hits
Burris hit the ball pretty solid, but you know, these guys are just hitting balls, you know, all over the place a little bit because they are pesky type of players.
You almost need that type of hitter at AT&T Park in San Francisco.
You do. I did not like that park, especially for a power guy. Well, I thought I was a power guy, and you go there and you get that breeze coming off the bay, hit some balls. You thought you hit them pretty good, and they wouldn't go anywhere, but you hit the ball in the gap. That park is a gap type of hitter park.
The other thing, too, you'd have to think Terrio's going to get a decent pitch with Cabrera on deck.
Yeah, well, he should.
Blanco still at second. Hanley charges and gets the out at first. But the Giants draw even. The double by Burris. Blanco chases him home 1-1 to the bottom of the third. Sports Florida, brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on an amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Madison Bumgarner to Mark Burley. Mark Wagner, the home plate umpire, calling strike one. Mike Malinsky down at first, Wally Bell at second. Mike Winters is at third base. That's your umpiring quartet, and everybody gets a shot at home plate in this series as they rotate around. See Malinsky behind there tomorrow. 0-2. Burley.
Just a tough matchup
It
for
is.
Burley.
He had the back end headed towards the first base dugout. Leaned out over the plate, just got a piece.
Last few times I come to the ballpark, Burley always has a bat in his hand. He likes to hit.
He does. Ozzie Guillen has to chase him out of the cage because the hitters, or the pitchers generally come in and sneak in before the hitters take their swings. Guillen will let him hit a couple line drives and then chase him out and say, hey, look, don't get hurt.
Well, I like the fact that they get a chance to hit, so they see it's not that easy when they want to, chirp a little bit about the hitter. Like, hey, why you didn't hit that ball? Like, well, you get a chance going to the cage, and it's actually sometimes a little simple for them in the cage because the BP guy don't want to hit them, so they throw the ball right over the dish, and they hitting it pretty good. But they get a little glimpse of what we go through every day.
Struck him out, and we check in with Craig Minervini. Craig.
Hey guys, thank you very much. Last night, Joe Espada called it the toughest call he's had over there as third base coach, and trying to determine whether to send a runner or not. Here's the situation: Marlins were down 2, 6th inning, 1 out, 7, 8, 9 hitters up next. First and second. Look how far down he got. Almost to home plate before he stopped Giancarlo Stanton. He said he was worried about the throw, but he said most of the time here, the Giant outfielders have been squeezing the middle, so he felt because the ball was down the line, he'd have a chance to bring in Stanton. He was really relieved, he said, when Buck had the sac fly after that. He was worried about the double play, the lack of hitting in the bottom of the order, and certainly Coghlan and Homer, so it turned out not to be a key play. As Reyes bloops one here, and he's going to find that big outfield for the Marlins. Espada said in this ballpark, anytime, like for example this situation, the ball is hit to right near that 392 mark, he said he can score anybody on the team, including his slowest runner. Left field gap, the fast guys like Reyes, Bonnie, Peterson should score anytime the ball hits the gap. A slower runner, then you got a little bit of a question. But he said, generally speaking, yeah, it's probably a little easier to make the call at this stadium. But tight moment of the game for him last night, guys.
It turned out to be the right call, and certainly is not an easy job.
No, it isn't. Joe Espada does a terrific job down there. And we talk about his aggressiveness. You try to put a little pressure on the outfielders or whoever's throwing the ball, relay man, whoever it might be.
Bumgarner to the plate against Infante with a strike. Now remember, we've determined Bumgarner has a pretty good move, and Reyes was on his way back to first when that one came to home plate.
He has to hold his ground. It doesn't matter with his move. Posey has a pretty good arm, but Reyes can outrun anybody. So just hold his ground, and I think he's just trying to pick up where Bumgarner's release point is going to be, where his knee is going to go.
Yeah, Cliff, is he a guy that you might even have to guess on?
Sometimes.
As soon as he lifts that leg.
As soon as he lifts it up, yeah. Because even if Reyes goes, Peel has to make a perfect throw sometimes to get him out. Sort of like the same throw would be coming from Buster Posey behind the dish.
Base runners 3 of 4 in stolen bases this year. And this is start number 10 for Bumgarner, so not a lot of guys have tried.
He's the guy. Let me cut you off, Tommy, but he's the guy that you watch tape of and pick up that 1A move, as you talked about, Tommy, before you watch him before, so you can go, okay, this is what he does, this is where his head moves, and sort of pick it up. Reyes is that good where he watches a little tape and he knows exactly what he's doing.
Infante cracks it into center field, a base hit. A little station-to-station baseball here. And that'll bring up Hanley Ramirez with runners first and second and 1 out. Family Sunday is tomorrow, 1:10. Come on out early for Snapshot Sunday. First 5,000 kids get a Mark Burley wall flag, courtesy of Stanley Tools. Plus, kids can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com for tickets. Hanley was called out on strikes in the first. And now you've got good speed in both spots out there. Reyes at second, Infante at first.
This is where Hanley needs to start coming through and showing how good he is. Especially when the team is down a little bit. You're missing, Bonifacio. You're missing some of your key guys. Hanley has to be the guy that steps up, and he is swinging the bat good. I don't want to take that away from him, but he has to start. These balls he's getting away, he's fouling off. Those have to start being in play as we speak.
Fouls that one back to the screen.
Yeah, we talked about it a few weeks ago. David Wright, who's having a tremendous year, finally dipped below 400. He's in the 390s now. But Hanley has more RBIs than David Wright.
Right.
Hanley got about 4 or 5 more RBIs. So
he has a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. Of course, Wright's also being walked a lot.
Of course. I wouldn't pitch to David Wright right now with that lineup like that.
Runners go, double steal, throw to third is high. Reyes is safe. In fact, Reyes was almost past the bag when the ball arrived.
Bumgarner is slow and deliberate to the plate. That's why he kind of holds the ball a little bit, try to disrupt your rhythm. But when you have fast guys like the Marlins do, doesn't matter about that. They going.
You ask Reyes right now, he'll tell you it's 100% easier to steal off Bumgarner, go to third, than it is being on first trying to steal second.
No doubt.
Now, if Hanley Ramirez can put it in play on the ground up the middle, he'll at least drive in a run. There's 1 out. The infield up the middle is back. Fastball up and in. Our Toyota trend. Marlins 19-8 when stealing 1 base. 2 or more, the odds get better.
So on that one play, the odds really got better.
Just like that. That's why we dropped in the Toyota trend right there. Here's the 2-1 coming. And it's 2-2. Bumgarner thinking strikeout right now.
The problem, if he gets it, then they'll put Stanton on the pitch to Lomo. This is why this is so important for Hanley here.
Foul tip, and down goes the home plate umpire, Mark Wegner. I'm not sure where he took it, but it sure looks painful.
Boy, and the entire umpiring crew, off the left shoulder. And, you know, umpires and catchers, they'll tell you the same thing. They got all that stuff, protective gear on, and it usually finds a spot where there isn't anything.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
That dropped him. Anytime you see an umpire go down, they're struggling. But I've seen so many over my years go down, and you wonder how the heck they get back up and stay in the ball game.
They're
But
tough.
They're tough.
Yeah,
they
are
tough guys.
Because it's not like a player who can take a half inning off on the bench or even go out to left field and walk it off. If you're the home plate umpire, you got to get right back up and start calling balls and strikes again.
And that's always tough because now you wonder where he's at. Is he into the, is he into the game or is he worried about his shoulder?
If you're Hanley right now, you got to say you okay. You don't want to show like you're concerned.
Right.
Yes.
If you're the hitter,
you definitely got to say, hey, you good?
Well, Hanley's been able to come through in this spot. Reyes at third base, Infante's at second. There's one out. You can see the Giant infield's back. Bumgarner looking for a strikeout. Hanley looking for contact. Two and two.
always in motion is Ozzie Guillen on the bench.
I love it.
Foul back.
Another thing about Ozzie, when we have so many shots and he's looking at somebody, talking about here, getting on guys, but he knows everything that's going on in the game.
You know, he talked about learning the National League again, you know, getting himself in tune with it, and because he managed so long in the American League, and it's tough. There's so much that's going on, double switching, you know, and things like that come out throughout the game. But he's always into it. I spoke to him before the game, and it was just good to go in there and see. He's relaxed a little bit. But, you know, he's talking about his lineup. He's talking about, you know, guys, you know, getting going and things like that. And like you said, Tom, he's always there ready.
2-2. Ground ball, base hit, left field. Reyes scores. Here comes Infante, held at third. Hanley produces a run, and it's 2-1 Fish. And here comes Stanton.
Good AB by Hanley Ramirez, who we showed you good numbers in these situations, over 60% getting that run in. Hung in there, got a decent pitch to hit. And now, if you're Gary Thurman at first base, you're telling Hanley, don't steal.
Please
just stay here, because if he gets to second base, now they put Stanton on. Stay at first base. Give Big Giancarlo, see, it's easy, you just say Big Mike.
Right.
Give Big Giancarlo a chance to swing the bat.
Don't come out the same, but
Yeah.
I still like it. So he's swinging the bat. But that's the type of bat that can get Hanley going. That's what you want to see from him. I know you see all the foul balls, but Bumgarner's a tough pitcher. So that type of bat, you get 4 or 5 foul balls, you get yourself comfortable and sort of relaxed and get into the bat, and it keeps you moving. A pitcher bat is always one of those bats that allows you to get going. And hopefully this is something to get Hanley's going. Especially as I said, he's a big guy in this lineup, and if he gets going, then it seems everybody else sort of follows suit.
You saw where all the pitches in that at bat were. Pitch number 8 was right down the middle. Yeah, Bumgarner.
This A+ move.
Hey, right now he's hoping. He's hoping Hanley steals.
This is not the A move.
No, and then he might try to, if he got Hanley, then he would try to pick off Infante somehow at third, just to end the inning. Stanton doubled against him in the second, and that pitch is outside. Giancarlo Stanton, in his brief career against Madison Bumgarner, and both these guys are just 22, is 5 for 7 with 4 doubles. He's going out further and further.
And really, this is just playing into the way Giancarlo has swung the bat. I know you've had a chance to watch him in spring training or in BP. That's all he's been doing.
Yeah, I mean,
hit the ball the other way.
He hits the ball hard the other way, hitting the ball to center field, and that's the way you take BP. That's the way that keeps you locked in. In this situation, if I'm Bumgarner, I don't really want to pitch to him because you're dealing with a guy in low mode coming up next. Even though he has good success against lefty, against Bumgarner, he still has the issue with the knees, and he's a double play candidate.
This right here shows you the respect that they're giving to Stanton. They're not even close with anything.
See, Lomo should take this as an unintentional, intentional walk.
Well, 3-0 dusted him off there. He came in tight twice with fastballs. And so the bags are loaded, and here comes Morrison.
You're absolutely right, Cliff. And I guarantee there are times it happened to you. You know they didn't want to pitch to that guy because they would rather pitch to you.
Right. And, it makes you mad. I have a situation where it goes back to when I faced Roy Oswalt a couple times. And Roy was just flat out hit you. He didn't mess around. Well, that's when he had Roger Clemens in. Roger probably was in his ear saying, listen, why waste 4 pitches? Hit him. It's just those things come up, and guys would just rather face the next guy.
Now Morrison. Lomo hit a ball in the air to deep left in the second. If he is able to do that here, he would drive in a run.
There are so many positive things that can come out of this situation. Individually for Lomo, if he were to come through with a gapper and hit the ball well, team-wise, a real positive thing for a lefty to get the big hit off Bumgarner.
That's a strike, and Bumgarner now in control with a count 0-2. Infante single followed Reyes. Hanley with an RBI single after the double steal. And Bumgarner went 2-0 and then nearly hit Stanton on the next 2 pitches. So it's 0-2. Bumgarner wastes one. Giants obviously looking for a ground ball. Bumgarner as well would love a strikeout here. You've got Solano on deck. But of course it was Solano who drove in the first run with an RBI single in the second in his first major league start. Morrison, a little tapper. They'll go to second, get one. The relay not in time, and the ball gets loose. Here comes Hanley. He's going to score. 2 runs across.
Couple of choices for Pill. He could have gone to the plate, tried to double play that way. He tries to go the other way, gets the out at second, but then the throw gets away at first, and that allows Hanley to run. Lomo going hard up the line,
he's busting it. And with Pill in that situation, Tommy, he doesn't get an opportunity to play every day, so those type of those situations will come up right away, split second type of situations. And he went for second, thinking that he could turn the double play with Lomo, but Lomo came out the box, I would say, busting it. So good for him.
Solano fouls a pitch off.
You always can smell that RBI when you hit with guys on base. You smell those RBI opportunities, bum near or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's it's the one thing that we've seen consistent with Logan Morrison, whether he's banged up, and he usually is. He still plays hard, and he still is 100%.
Yes, he is.
And again, the team that's made the most errors in the major leagues gets hurt by another error. Error charges shortstop on that throw that got away at first.
Leading the league in errors at 49. That's their 50th error of the season.
And for a team that's built around its starting rotation and some team speed, that's not a good sign. Pitch is up, and it's 1-2. So it's 4-1. Marlins on top.
Boy, the importance of making contact, too. And Lomo's at bat.
And he had 2 strikes on him, so he had to bear down right there in that situation. You always have to bear down, especially against Bumgarner, that slinging lefty that he's throwing that.
Morrison running on the 1-2 pitch, and it's fouled back.
Feeling a little froggy today. He thought he went in standing up right there. He felt good about somebody. I'll probably say, get back over to first base.
I think Lomo just figured that Bumgarner was not going to throw over to first base. You get that one shot, though. He can't do it now.
Solano, a good at bat, keeps fighting off fastballs.
Rich, you go back to spring training, and we saw Donovan Solano and Donnie Murphy. They got a lot of playing time in the infield. And, there was a debate who was going to make the ball club, and Solano had a tremendous spring training. And Donnie Murphy did a good job. But it's one of those things that everybody remembered the job that Solano did, Ozzie in particular.
And Solano wasn't tearing it up at AAA when he got called up. He wasn't hitting 300. He was in the mid-200s.
Hello, Pop. But the one good thing about this spring training that the Marlins had was their road guys had the opportunity to play. They had some guys that was on the shelf a little bit, and that was, that sort of opened the doors for these guys to get a lot of playing time.
Bumgarner throws a changeup. Solano strikes out. But the Fish with a nice inning. 3 runs in this 3rd inning. And a 4-1 lead. Ramirez picking up an RBI, and the Marlins have a 4-1 lead. AT&T trivia question on this Saturday afternoon. First San Francisco Giant to hit 50 or more home runs in a season. 50 or more home runs by a San Francisco Giants. Melky Cabrera drops down a bunt, and Burley vacuums it up and fires to first in time.
That's a gift right there.
I'm really stunned.
For Mark Burley.
I mean, here's Cabrera. He's over 600 career against Burley.
Yeah, bunting on a Gold Glover.
3-time Gold Glover.
Forget that. How about the fact that he hits him well?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's amazing.
Take your chances.
And this year, he's one of the best in baseball against lefties. He was well over 400 coming into the ballgame against any lefty, let alone one named Mark Burley. Now Posey takes a strike.
By the way, on that trivia, let's throw. I mean, I know Mays when he was in New York with the Giants, but I think he hit over 50 in San Francisco too.
I don't think he ever did.
You don't think he did?
I don't think Willie Mays ever hit over 50.
So you think it's Bonds?
I would have to say it's Bonds. I mean, what about? I mean,
Matt Williams would have in '94.
You're right.
Or could it be? It couldn't be Jeff Kent.
McCovey, Cepeda.
I was gonna say McCovey.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
I would have to go with Bonds. Oh, that's my point.
Posey drops the bat head down. He got a lot of that one. Coughlin going back, reaches up, makes the catch. That's one of those balls, Cliff, as an outfielder, you can't really judge by the swing, can you?
No, you definitely can't, because that ball was down. He stayed through it. He went down and got it. And Chris did a great job of holding his ground a little bit. He took one step in, but then he got on his horses and got back to the ball. But this park gives you a chance to just ride out. Once you decide you have to go get a ball, you got a lot of room to go out there and do it. But this is all brand new for Chris Coughlin also.
Yes.
You know, being the fact that he just got called up and getting now his opportunities. But, you know, he has to learn this park, and he has to put a lot of time in at BP with balls off the bat.
That's why when I told Solano, hey, just follow Coughlin around, Coughlin looked at me like, oh, yeah?
Well, we've been talking about everybody settling in and getting used to the new ballpark.
Right.
But you're right. Coughlin just got here, and in center field, no less, too.
And it's tough. I mean, you know, you bring balls off the bat, and it's always tough.
Coughlin will get another chance, though this one not as challenging. He's there. Mark Burley pitching to the park and getting 3 outs and 7 pitches. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Bennett Auto Supply. Our prices bring you in, and our people bring you back. And by 5 Hour Energy. 5 Hour Energy salutes the troops. Saturday afternoon in Miami, coming closer to a Saturday night. 4-1. Marlins lead the Giants in the bottom of the 4th. And back to work against Bumgarner. Those Chris Coughlin, John Buck, and Mark Burley. Cliff Floyd sitting in. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. And here's Chris Coughlin. Bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up. Breaking ball from Bumgarner is a strike. On Big Fox, you have a primetime game, Baseball Night in America, returning again this Saturday. That's a 7:15 start. For those of you wandering around tonight and looking for some baseball, you have a chance to watch the Phillies or the Cardinals. That one fouled back to the screen. as well. They have the Cubs and the Pirates, the Angels and Seattle, Rockies and Reds, Astros, Dodgers. Here's the 0-2. And Bumgarner misses way outside. One team in the East that has played already, the Mets, got a masterpiece from Johan Santana and shut out the Padres 9-0.
A 4-hit shutout for Johan Santana, 96 pitches.
And a grand slam from Mike Nickias.
Tough roster right there with the Mets.
Vinny Rotino, a Marlin briefly, hit his first big league home run.
Yeah, a long-time professional player, minor league player. His first major league home run today for the Mets.
It's always great stories when you have guys who've been around a long time get a chance. And the Mets, everybody thought in spring training, I mean, I didn't give them the Mets. I thought they would lose 99 games. You know, you predicted the guys to lose, and all of a sudden, you see these guys, and they're right in the thick of everything. That NL East is turning into something else.
Coughlin pulls a ground ball to first. Brett Pill steps on the bag. All right, let's find out who the first San Francisco Giant to hit 50 home runs in a season was. That's our AT&T trivia question. Cliff settled on Bonds.
Yeah,
I went McCovey.
I'm going with Mays, but still not real confident in that choice.
Tommy got it.
Hey, it was.
You're right, Tommy.
Hey, all right.
You are so right.
Hey, say hey.
So right.
Round of applause to you.
Now, Cliff, you played there when it was enclosed. Tommy, you played there before it was enclosed and after.
Hey, enclosed or not enclosed, 50 home runs in that place. Unbelievable. It was not a hitter-friendly place.
Totally agree with you, Tommy. I hated going there. I mean, listen, Candlestick, Pac Bell, it doesn't matter. I just didn't feel good anywhere on the West Coast, especially when you went across over the bridge over to Oakland and played in the Coliseum. Bad place to play also. I'm done with that part of California. I'm very comfortable where I am right now, but just never felt good in those parks. I don't know. It was cold. It was wet.
Pop-up. Posey against the aquarium again.
What do they call it, Rich? You're from that area in Oakland, the heavy air.
The marine layer.
The marine layer, yeah.
They can have the marine
layer. It's a little thicker and colder in San Francisco than Oakland, but still, for you,
it's tough.
It's
because you wake up, you go outside, you walk around, you have a nice lunch, and you get ready to go to the park. You go, wow, it's a beautiful day.
If you go north of San Francisco, it's the Marin layer. That's where you get into the hot tubs and that's where the fun starts. Here's the 1-2 swing and a miss, and Buck goes down. Mark Burley comes up. Marlins had a 3-run third inning against Madison Bumgarner. And that was after Burley struck out for the first out of the inning. That other game tonight on Big Fox that you might want to catch, the Rays and the Red Sox.
That's a good pitching matchup. See the pitching matchup?
Yeah, Beckett and Price. And there was a little bit of fireworks that went on last night between those two teams.
Matt Joyce hit a grand slam last night.
Beckett has pitched well his last couple times after the whole Gulfgate incident,
which I thought he could have, kept quiet a little bit. I mean, everybody is entitled to their off day, of course, but when you nurse an injury, maybe you want to chill out a little bit.
Yeah. We all know Josh Beckett, though. No harm, no foul.
No.
He's going to go out and give some good outings.
That's what he does. But, I guess they was questioning him at a bad time, Tom. And sometimes you get caught in the moment and say some things you don't want to say.
See, it would be one thing if a pro golfer who had a bad lat was out playing baseball before a round of golf in a tournament.
Getting loose.
Yeah.
Right? It would be another thing if they were winning early on when that happened.
Well, you're right about that. I mean, if they're 10 games over in first place in the East, it's not a story.
At all.
2-2. I know Burley struck out in the third, but he got deep in the count. He forced Bumgarner to throw a lot of pitches, or more than he would like to, against the opposing pitcher. And it takes a while to get rid of Burley here in the fourth. 4 in the books. 4-1 Miami.
In spring training and had a big fan there in manager Ozzie Guillen.
It was a shame that kid not make the clubs out of spring training. He's the best player we have overall. I mean, out of 60 players we bring in camp, he was the best one. He opened a lot of people's eyes. He put himself in the great play because he just went to camp just to fill it up a hole. Now he's opening eyes in everybody, having an opportunity to have a career in the big league. We're going to give him the opportunities. It's about taking opportunities and taking advantage of the opportunities. And I think this kid so far is doing pretty good.
And guys, even if that opportunity puts him in a spot where he never played before, except for one game in the minor leagues, he told me it was 3 innings in Palm Beach. He played for the Cardinals then, and because of an outfield collision, that opened up a spot, and the manager looked and threw him out to left field for 3 innings, and he took balls for a couple of days, and great to see him have success. What a week. His debut, then his first hit, then his first RBI, and now his first start.
That's great stuff, Craig. And for Donovan Solano, it's been quite a week. Quite a nice series here against the Giants. A big key hit in this one in a 4-1 Miami lead. And I think now, guys, we're seeing Mark Burley pitching to the game. He's got a 3-run lead. A lot of balls in the air now. A lot of early contact. This is how Burley operates.
He keeps the ball down. He keeps the ball around the plate. He sort of allows you to think you can get every pitch. And that's the one thing that makes him effective. Low up, low down, low off the plate. And when you do those type of things, then you can pop that fastball. It looks like 95, but it's only 84, 85, 86. And there you go. Actually, that was a little change up at 78. But, that's the one thing about Burley that makes you think a little bit. Comfortable 0 for 4. He's been doing his whole career.
Jam shot. Burley's going to have to get over. Nice toss by Morrison. Leads Burley right across the bag. Time now for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stats. Angel Pagan for the Gigantes. Last 5 games here in South Florida. 9 of 23. 4 of 9 with runners in scoring position. The Giants are counting on Pagan. You can count on Just for Men Auto Stop for foolproof results. Manuel Burris doubled and then scored in the 3rd inning. Burris takes a strike.
We laughed in Burley's last outing. He was against Jamie Moyer. He was the young kid. And today he's the elder statesman against Bumgarner, who's 22, and Burley's 33.
Well, the funny thing is, I asked Burley before the start, because he faced Moyer a lot when Burley was with the White Sox and Moyer was in his prime with Seattle. I asked him, did you learn anything watching him? And Burley said, nah, because I never thought I'd be compared to him. He said, I always thought I threw a lot harder than he did. I never thought I'd throw as slow as I'm throwing now. He said, I always thought I'd have a fastball like I did when I was 21.
Just goes to show you.
I'll tell you what, when he was 22, which is Bumgarner's age, Mark Burley was 16-8 with the White Sox that year.
He's 1-2 on Emmanuel Burris. Ground ball short. Reyes just gobbles it up. And that's what Burley is doing. He's just compiling outs. He has retired the last 7 in a row. Randy St. Clair in the dugout. This series concludes tomorrow. And then on Monday, it's a special 1 o'clock edition of a Military Monday, an Outback Steakhouse Military Monday. Military employees, active duty, reserve, National Guard, veterans, and dependents. You get a free ticket with each military ID that you bring to the Marlins Park box office on the day of the game. So tomorrow, bring your military ID, and you'll get a free ticket with each one of those IDs. Right back to Bumgarner, who spears it, flips it, and Reyes is out number 1 in the bottom of the 5th.
Marlins have made Bumgarner work a little bit. First couple of innings, he threw 26 pitches. The next 2 innings, he threw 51. So they've seen him a little bit more. That ball was hit well by Reyes.
It's always going to be a good fielding pitcher, but you know, I was talking about it earlier in pregame. When you have a guy like Bumgarner who has really good stuff, you have to see what he's featuring. You have to go out there and sort of see it, and then you make the adjustments to him. That's how good he's been. So when you say he's taking pitch, they're taking pitches, Tommy, it makes a great point because the Marlins went out and said, hey, he's around the plate, but is he throwing strikes? And now they're taking advantage of it, as we see with the 4-1 lead.
Cliff, explain this term with the Infante. He has quiet hands.
He doesn't move much. He keeps his head still, and his hands just move a little bit. He almost has them in a hidden position. So all he wants to do is just make sure that they get going a little bit, not too much. Where he gets big, and that's why he's had success.
Back-footed him with a breaking ball, and Infante went after it. Bumgarner has the first 2 outs. He has settled down now as he's retired 7 in a row. And here comes Hanley, and a big moment for Hanley was the RBI single in the 3rd. We showed you that stat where Hanley was at 61% of driving in a runner at 3rd with less than 2 outs this year. Now he's probably around 64, 65%. The major league average right now is 52%. That's probably going to be playable, and it is. Arias is down and he makes the catch. Bumgarner, a 6-pitch inning. Onward, upward to the 6th, 4-1 Fish. Marlins Park on a Saturday afternoon and a big crowd on hand. Cliff Floyd is in the house. That's how big the crowd is tonight here in the booth. Rich Waltz along with Cliff Floyd and Tommy Hunt. It's been a good ball game. Yeah. The Marlins have executed offensively, and Mark Buehrle is just flat getting outs right now.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. I mean, he's keeping the ball in the zone, and he's pitching to the game and his strength. And that's the one good thing about Mark Buehrle that you love, is he always pitches to his strength throughout the game, no matter what the situation is.
Madison Bumgarner leads it off. Buehrle catches the outside corner with a breaking ball, and that's a 4-pitch out. Buehrle's been getting 7-8 pitch innings.
And all of a sudden, he's retired 8 in a row.
Top of the order, a guy that he's not retired yet. That's Gregor Blanco, who is 2 for 2. Blanco has only 7 hits in the series. That's just it. And this is game 3 of a 4-game set, so he may get to double digits by the time he leaves here on Sunday.
Can't have a hard time getting him on a charter flight wherever they go next.
Look at that average right there against the Marlins, 632.
They go back home and take on Arizona.
And the Marlins dive back into the East. Now, the Marlins have had a terrific month of May. The Fish with a win last night improved to 17-7 in May. But the Nationals are coming. June brings not only some division play with the Phillies, but as Craig and Jeff Conine outlined in Marlins Live, June is filled with contenders from the American League, the Rays, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays. Buehrle knocks it down. Let's hope he's okay. And another hit for Blanco.
Who is this guy, Blanco?
Man, he was a guy that was not in the big leagues last year. He was a guy that was in AAA last year. And Buehrle, remember, he got hit his last start as well. More in the foot. Hard to tell where this got him. If it got him in the arm,
a little
in
bit
the stomach,
a little bit of the midsection. I think he got a little bit of everything.
If you got him in the gut, he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
But you see Lomo over at first base. He's rubbing everything he has, his glove, his body, all on Blanco over there at first. trying to rub some of those hits off of him.
Blanco has hits in his last 5 at bats going back to last night. It's a 1-out single. He's at first. And here's Terrio. Twice Terrio has bounced to third. In the first inning, that started a double play. In the third inning, it ended the inning. Marlins will see the second half of the Terrio Fontenot show when the Phillies come to town. Mike Fontenot has surfaced with the Phillies.
I think the Phillies is surfacing with everybody at this point. They're trying to find, a fine mixture when you have your big boys out of lineup in Utley and Howard.
Juan Pierre's doing a good job. Ty Wigginton's getting some starts. Freddie Galvis playing a little bit more.
Yeah, he is playing pretty good also.
Freddie Galvis is a good-looking player. We were impressed when we saw him to start the year. Jaime Garcia for the Cardinals against Kyle Kendrick of the Phillies tonight. That game in St. Louis. Terrio jumps on that off-speed pitch into center. Coughlin has it. Blanco stops at second. And now this is a matchup that everybody looked at when the game started. Melky Cabrera against Mark Buehrle. 17 of 27 in his career with a couple of homers. And Buehrle has retired him twice. He struck him out in the first. And Cabrera inexplicably tried to drop down a bunt in the fourth and bunted it right back to the mound.
Now, let's just say this right here. He's not going to be bunting now.
No, he's definitely not bunting in this situation.
And this is a big at bat here. It's a 3-run game. Buehrle's been cruising, but now all of a sudden, a couple of hits. 2 on and 1 out. Posey's on deck.
I like that move by Omar Infante in that situation right there. He sort of bluffed to go to second base. Maybe Melky Eyes goes with him a little bit and follows him over there as Buehrle gets ready to pitch.
Cholula hot sauce spotlight player. You see Cabrera in May, the most hits in Major League Baseball this season. Center field, not too deep. Coughlin gets around it, makes the catch, and everybody holds. Gemlin has to play to the camera, not the crowd.
Let's go. Let's go. Get it this way. There you go. That belt's gone bad. Hey, by the way, that was a non-play for Chris Coughlin. You don't get an error assist to put out anything. But the way he circled the ball to get himself in position to keep Blanco at second base.
That's a smart outfielder's play because Blanco can run. And if a guy at third base makes it easier for the hitter and Posey to throw a knockout there, easy run score. So get around the plate, do it fundamentally sound, and it makes everybody happy.
0-1 to Buster Posey. He's flied out twice. Now it's 0-2. Buehrle trying to pitch around the 2 base hits for Blanco and Terrio. Posey, the young giant catcher. Seems like he's been in the big leagues longer than he has. He's just 25.
Just a huge part of their future, no question.
I've seen him behind the dish a little bit, catching balls and actually being out in front of the plate on plays at home plate, and he's definitely not blocking that plate, which I thought it would be opposite. I thought he would definitely say, in the heat of the moment, you don't know what you're going to do. But he's definitely not blocking that plate.
Well, the Giants really worked with him in spring training, and Bruce Bochy laid down the law. Bochy would know, he's a former big league catcher, that they don't want him to put himself in a position as he did with that play last year.
One thing about Bochy, though, he was a backup catcher, and he had to block that play.
That's a great point. I mean, Brett Hayes, Matt Trainer, those are guys that always block the plate. You think about Hayes when Niger Morgan took a run at him. It was Hayes that suffered the brunt, and we saw Trainer flatten numerous times.
Yeah, you know what? It's maybe one time in my career I've ever hit a catch. I didn't like it either because you can, with my injury history, you can always get hurt as the runner coming in also.
The 2-2. Ground ball. Wow, Morrison was way off the bag. Infante waits, and he got back. Logan Morrison on a routine grounder to second, nearly ran out to second base. Infante had the patience to wait, and that was a near disaster.
Fútbol en español es presentado en SAP por Toyota.
Cookie and Raul join us now. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
How are you guys?
Richie, Tommy, how are you guys?
Hey, you know, we're doing pretty good, Cookie. We added a little power to our lineup today.
Nice.
We got Cliff Floyd over here.
Hey, not too bad. Not too bad at all.
That's what you call protection in the lineup.
Yeah.
Giancarlo Stanton again down the line. And around first he goes. Stanton continues to own Madison Bumgarner.
He's making this look easy.
6 for 8 in his career. 2 doubles in this ballgame. 5 doubles total in those 8 at-bats against Bumgarner.
I'll tell you, there's no question about it that he's on a roll. This month of May has been amazing.
And Cookie, we talked about his power with home runs, but how about his power with the way balls get by infielders and then all the way to the outfield wall?
Well, if the ball is hit to your right or to your left, you got no chance. The way when he connects, that ball is by you within seconds. And then it carries all the way to the fence. Have you ever seen ground balls? You know, I wish I would have hit a ground ball in my lifetime that could reach the fence the way the Stanton does. I mean, it's amazing.
They look like torpedoes.
But he's very comfortable right now on the plate. He's seeing good pitches.
Morrison drives it right center. That's deep. And it's off the wall. Stanton will score. Morrison's got a double. It's 5-1.
Absolutely hit that ball right on the nose. And it's good to see that type of inning from Logan Morrison. We need him back. He's starting to hit again. And then I'll tell you, the way things are going right now, our offense is really scoring some runs for our starting pitchers who have done a great job during the whole year, guys.
You know, in that situation, I mean, he goes up, tries to pull the ball to the opposite field, so he has the right approach from the get-go.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And just that right there in itself helps you in that at-bat. So he got a fastball he liked up and was able to crush it to the gap.
Back-to-back doubles, Stanton and Morrison, to open up the bottom of the 6th inning. All right, guys, have a good show.
Take care, guys.
You too, fellas.
Take it easy, fellas.
Now Solano with a runner at second, nobody out. Let's see if he can move the runner up. Bumgarner knows that, and he came inside on him. It's 0-1.
These were some of the little things. You heard Ozzie speak of those about the way Solano impressed everybody in spring training, and these were situations, little things like this, he was able to perform too.
Chops it foul. The thing about Solano is he's not a 21 or a 22-year-old kid who has very little experience. He's 24, and he was in the Cardinals organization. You see the right-hander in the bullpen since 2005. So coming up in the Cardinals organization every step of the way. He got to AAA in 09. He's on his way back to the dugout right now, but spent parts of the last 3 seasons in Memphis, AAA with the Cardinals.
And you know, sometimes it takes you a little bit longer to get your opportunities. And I think when you find yourself, you know, in the spring training, as Solano found himself this spring with the Marlins, you know, as we talked about, you know, he had the opportunity to play more, and he opened some eyes, and that's what you have to do in spring training. Even if you don't make the team, you know, you keep it in the back of Ozzie's mind and the organization's mind to say, hey, you know, first time we get the opportunity to bring this guy up, he has to come, because he did everything we asked him to do in spring training.
Chris Coughlin now. Check swing roller, foul. Coughlin is bounced into a fielder's choice and grounded to first. 5-1, Miami on top.
Chris seems so more relaxed, so more confident about the second time through. And sometimes it takes you to go through what he went through, a little adversity, to go back down and get yourself right a little bit, and then come back up and say, hey, I don't want to go back down anymore. This is it. This is my opportunity. I'm gonna stay here, and I'm gonna help this team. You know, you go through that period as a youngster. You win the you know, Rookie of the Year. Pressure comes on you now, and you're on the spotlight. You expect it to come through every day, and then you know, and when it doesn't happen, you wonder where the heck did it go that quick. You know, I just went home for a couple months, and now I'm coming back, and it's not there. You know. Little reality check, but it's good to see him back in the lineup. He looks good. I think it's going to help this team.
Sends a pop out into left center field. Pagan comes on and makes the catch. 2 outs. Here comes John Buck, and here comes the Coors Light freeze can. The play at the plate. Giancarlo Stanton trying to get Emmanuel Burris. There's your freeze. You saw he beat Buck to the corner of the plate. And at the Giants' only run of the ball game, that was the third, and that was the Frostbrewed Coors Light freeze can. Well, the Giants figure why pitch to John Buck when they can pitch to Mark Burley with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th.
Bruce Bochy's kind of tried to piece things together with Pablo Sandoval out of his lineup. They expect him back in 10 days, 2 weeks. Of course, his bullpen hurt with the Tommy John surgery that Brian Wilson had. So he's had to work things out down there.
Yeah, you look at the lineup. Like you say, you're missing Big Panda, you know, but the fact that, you know, you haven't had consistent play from your first base position, whether it's been Huff, whether it's been Peel, Belt hasn't shown up, and that's, you know, that's key for that lineup.
Burley busted his bat and lines it to first. Marlins get a run, back-to-back doubles by Giancarlo and Lomo. Marlins. 5-1. Fish on top. Into the 7th goes Mark Burley. Just 75 pitches. He's got 10 ground ball outs. Reyes now at 7, and Fonte now at 6 for hit streaks. And some nice at-bats. Logan Morrison has driven in 2 of the 5 runs. And the Ramirez with a key single in this one. And Donovan Solano making his first start in left field. Solano with an RBI single in the 2nd.
All much to the delight of Lil Wayne.
He was actually chilling.
Yeah,
having a good time.
Just relaxed.
I wonder if he knew he was going to be sitting in front of a fish tank when he got to the game.
Yeah?
He probably didn't know that.
Here is Pagan. Cliff, you don't have this for a Halloween costume in the closet somewhere, do you?
No. Especially down here in South Florida where it's hot on Halloween night. It's the last thing I'll have on.
A Teletubby outfit?
Yeah. Some things you just can't pull off.
But, you know, they do pull off the Marlin caps on top quite nicely.
And they seem to have a good time, you know, and the fans have taken to it. And, you know, I mean, right now, I don't care how nice and cool it is inside here. They're still hot.
Liner left center, and neither Coghlan nor Solano will get there. Solano cuts it off, makes the throw to second, and Pagan comes in with a double. Boy, Pagan, Blanco, Cabrera, there are some Giants that are just having great stays in South Florida. And even Pagan gives out a little low viste. He and Reyes are teammates.
Yeah, they're having fun with it. It's not anything
malicious,
as you said the other day with the pitcher from Houston.
It's not like that knucklehead Wilton Lopez in Houston who threw at Hanley and then mocked him with the Loviste on his way off the field.
Wow,
that was something.
Certain things you can't.
Yeah.
Certain things you just can't do. But these two, and Pagan and Reyes, I go back to the Mets days. I was actually with both of them there.
Pagan's one of those guys, we talk about guys that finally get a chance to play. Pagan was in the big leagues for a while and never really got a chance to play on an everyday basis. He was always known as a pretty good outfielder. And then with the Carlos Beltran's health issues, he got his chance.
And he talked about it every day. When I was there, that's the one thing he wanted was the opportunity to play every day, which every player wants, but you sort of know you're going to be a role player at some point, and you accept it. He didn't accept it, and that's one reason he get an opportunity to play now with the trade for Torres and him in all season. Gave him an opportunity to go to San Francisco and get his chance to do his thing.
Oh, Burley's doing his thing right now. Pagan in a rundown. Hanley tags him out. Mark Burley is the best fielding pitcher in baseball.
I'll tell you another reason why that was a good play is that the Marlins got the out quickly. 1-6. Now, Jose closes the gap. Here comes Hanley. He puts the tag on, and in the meantime, Hill, who hit the ball, didn't get to second base. He could only get to first.
Right. It starts with Burley, and then Reyes does a great job of running back, and that's the play you work on in spring training so much that you think never happens throughout the season, and it happens, quite a bit.
Remember, in Game 1, the Marlins had a rundown play, and Brett Hayes was late in getting the ball to third. So you're right. The quick reactions by Burley to get the ball and then to force the runner back to second and get rid of it, all important. Letter high strike to Joaquin Arias.
Just one of those many little things that Burley does, and it's the reason he's won 165 games.
I'm telling you, Tommy, and I was going to say that some guys can field that ball.
Into right, Stanton has it.
Some guys can field that ball, and they go to first base automatically because it's comfort for them. Burley makes that play because he's been there 1,000 times before, and he knows that if he does everything right, he's going to get the out what he needs to be.
He's a great example of what scouts will say and managers will say about a pitcher who manages the game. He pitches to the score. If it's a one-run game, Mark Burley is a little different than he is right now with a 4-run lead. Right now, he can't get the ball back to the plate fast enough. Hector Sanchez is on deck.
Well, you go back to the play that he made. If he gets out of this inning, you look at that play with a couple of hits that the Giants have. You know, they're looking at maybe scoring a big inning.
Breaking ball fouled at the plate.
I've always thought left-handed pitching, soft throwing guys had the best advantage because guys like to hit the fastball a lot. These guys always have you guessing and thinking and worrying, you know, a little bit off the play here. And you know, you're always looking back at the umpire to see if, you know, where you get that pitch. You always ask an umpire, was that a strike when you swung at it?
How come there aren't more soft-tossing right-handers?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would think that, you know, when you look at the lefties, you would take some of these guys and say, you know, let's take a little bit off that 90+ mile and throw 85, 86 and just have a little bit of control. I don't know why. I'm glad it wasn't, because then I wouldn't have the opportunity to play as much.
I think one of the reasons is there are a lot more right-handed hitters, and soft-tossing right-handers would probably have better success against left-handed hitters than right-handed hitters. And that's why some managers will actually play lefties against soft-tossing lefties, even though Burley has a pretty good breaking ball, though. He kind of counters that with a pretty good breaking ball.
He's 2-2 on Emmanuel Burris with 1 out. Giants with runners first and second in the top of the 7th. Outside corner. Wow. He'll cut it just enough. He'll take a little off it. Watch this thing come back and catch the corner.
And one of the key pitches, there's the cut just enough to get the outside part of the plate. The key pitch in that inning was pitch number 3, the 86-mile-an-hour fastball that he backed him off with, that he ran inside.
Yeah, you know, and the one thing with Mark Burley, if I'm hitting against him, you have to crowd the plate. And you know, I know he has a little cutter, but you have to make him. You know, you have to give him one or the other. You can't take that pitch in and jump off the dish and then give him that little bit off the outside plate. And today Mark Wagner's giving him that a little bit off the plate, and that's all he needs on a day like this.
Saw Edward Mujica in the bullpen, and we haven't even talked about this yet. Who closes for the Marlins today if it's a save situation? Ozzie Guillen has said he's trying to, 2-3 weeks ago he said, I've got to rehabilitate Heath Bell back into that closer role, that the Marlins are a better team if he's closing. To left, Solano there, Burley through 7. Mark Burley baffling the Giants, and in Miami this afternoon, it is 5-1 Fish.
1. Before the game on Marlins Live, Cliff Floyd had a chance to meet this man to my left, John Tuitu, our photographer, who is intertwined with Floyd on a crazy play in Marlins and baseball history back in 1999, almost to the day, 13 years ago. This is when Cliff Floyd hit a shot that was originally called a home run by the umpiring crew led by Frank Pulley. However, what happened here in this play, Floyd stopped at second and the ump said, no, home run. Well, Frank Pulley went over to the videotape and actually looked through the camera of our cameraman, John Tuitu, as you see Floyd scoring, and used instant replay for the first time, illegally so. Electronic transmission was not available for umpires back in 1999, but after looking at that, he turned back the call, and Floyd had to go back to second base. Of course, replay finally became part of baseball in August of 2008. Here's the clip, the headline in the Sun Sentinel that day, and I believe Cliff has this somewhere in his baseball memorabilia. So look at that headline from the Sun Sentinel, which says, Floyd tape, a sticking point, with a picture of Cliff upset that he lost a home run forever, and it was called a double.
Now, did you really think it was a home run, or were you just trying to sell it?
I swear I did, Rich. I swear I did. I mean, I was actually in my home run trot. I had a little strut going around first base.
I think we thought it was a home run too.
Yeah,
initially.
You know, and I felt good about it, and there it is.
So Frank Pulley a little ahead of the times.
They had no idea what Frank was. I actually, you know, as I was running back to left field at the next inning, I said, Frank. He was like, hey, doing my job. I'm like, yeah, right.
I don't know what was more stunning there, the fact that you were arguing or that the Sabres were in the Stanley Cup Finals. Throw to first. And an out at first as Reyes. But see, look.
There it is.
All right.
I probably didn't read that day.
That's a good look.
That's a skinny version.
And apparently Renteria came back.
Yeah. Yeah, the return, right?
And in the meantime, Steve Edlifson is the new pitcher, right-hander.
Omar Infante is 1 for 3. And he pulls one towards the Marlins dugout. Marlins saw Edlifson earlier in the series. Five runs on 7 hits for the Fish. Now the Giants have 7 hits with just 1 run. But the Marlins strung theirs together. They strung 3 consecutive hits in the 3rd inning. That was a 3-run inning. After getting on the board in the 2nd and taking a 1-0 lead on the Donovan Solano RBI single after the first of 2 doubles by Giancarlo Stanton. The Giants tied it in the top of the 3rd. Gregor Blanco, 1 of 3 hits on the day. That one drove in a run. Then the 3 runs for the Fish in the 3rd. Another double by Stanton in the 6th, followed by a double from Logan Morrison, and that stretched it to 5-1. Edlifson out in front here, 0-2. And he gets Infante. So 2 quick outs in the bottom of the 7th. If you like to eat and you like baseball, got news for you. You can get a Legend Silver ticket, and you can eat all the hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, popcorn, soda, and water for just $34. It's the all-you-can-eat special. And the next time we'll have it here at the ballpark is Monday. That's a 1 o'clock game on Memorial Day, so you can eat all day. The Nationals and the Marlins at 1:10.
I might have to make that one.
Carlos
That's how much my
Zambrano.
son eats.
Carlos Zambrano, Jordan Zimmerman. Good matchup tomorrow, though, too, Rich, in the final of this series.
In the final of this series, the Marlins and the Giants, Matt Cain and Ricky Nolasco. Cain, as usual, very good, 4-2, a 2.94 ERA. Nolasco 5-2 with a 4.31 earned run average. Second time that these two have squared off. Hanley takes a fastball in, and it's 2-0. That's tomorrow, 12:30 for Marlins Live. 1 o'clock games for the next 2 days, Sunday and on Monday. And then the Marlins on Tuesday and Wednesday night will finish off the series against the Nationals before the Fish go back on the road. And it's a brief road trip. Just going in to check on things in Philadelphia and come back home for another long homestand. Edlison throws a strike.
Well, that's really a nice crowd here today. Love to see a great crowds the rest of the Memorial Day weekend tomorrow, and certainly that series, the Monday afternoon game that starts that series against the Nationals.
All the teams in baseball will be wearing the special Memorial Day caps, and this year it's a little different twist. Years past it was all red or all blue or white and blue and white and red. It looks like the Marlins cap is going to be of the Marlin colors, but the logo will be a special Memorial Day take on the Marlin logo, or in the Giants case, the Giants logo.
A little camouflage mixed into it.
Here's the 2-2. That one foul back. If the Marlins can win this ball game, they'll go to 26-21, and they need to do that to keep pace with the Amazons. The Mets have won again. The Mets a 9-0 win over the Padres. Johan Santana is now 2-2. Hanley takes a called third strike, and the Fish are down to the 7th. Mark Burley coming back out for the 8th. Road trip, Philly cheesesteak, dig in. And it's a quick one, 3 days in Philadelphia. Marlins and Phillies for 3. That string of sellouts continues, and it should in Philly. It's the golden age of baseball for the Oh, Allie. A face full of green fuzz.
Somebody had a great line to me the other night. The other night, the Phillies had a game at the same time as the Sixers, right across the street, and both sold out. And somebody said if the Flyers had been playing, they would have sold out. That's how crazy the fans are up there.
They are some crazy fans. Do you guys have the Philly cheesesteaks in the locker room when you're there?
We just get them upstairs.
Yeah, right.
We go right to the source.
Oh,
we also go to
when you played.
No, yeah, they didn't have that good stuff.
They have a full kitchen in the Phillies, in the visitor locker room, and they have they make the Philly cheesesteaks for you.
Infante, Burley's over there, catches and he got him! Oh, wow! Omar Infante and the Gold Glover, Mark Burley.
Wow, it took that great play to retire Gregor Blanco, too. Keep in mind, Infante makes this play with Morrison diving in front of him. Keeps his concentration, flips it, and then look at the play by Burley. Oh, wow.
Great look in Foxmo, and here's Burley. Whoa. That's bang, bang.
That is bang, bang.
And again, Mark Burley just helping himself on the mound.
You could see that he was looking at his hand after coming to a skidding halt.
Is this guy fun to watch or what?
You love it.
He's great.
He does everything so good, and he's so consistent. That's one thing I love about him. You watch him, you go, wow, this is every time he starts, he's giving you something. He leaves nothing in the tank, and that's awesome.
I'll tell you a secret, though. And I know that he says, yeah, I kind of developed playing defense to my street hockey days when I was playing goalie. Look at his knees, skinned. Blowouts, probably bleeding under there. But every day during batting practice, with the screen in front of first base, Burley goes over to first base and he practices taking flips from first baseman as if he was coming over from the mound. Liner to center, Coughlin, good jump, dives, can't get it. It's by him, and it's going to the wall. Theriot is going to get to third at the very least. Stanton picks it up, and Theriot to third, and he'll stop there. Chris Coughlin had it just glance off the end of his glove.
Ball had a little tail action on it right here, right late also, and Coughlin just misses it. That's the type of play he go for, though, especially with the 5-1 lead. You go for that type of ball and give yourself a chance to make a spectacular play right there.
One-run game, you might not do that, so go ahead, go for it. Theriot with a couple of hits. He came into this game 2 for his last 25.
Ozzie Guillen has got Steve Cishek, it looks like, up in the bullpen. Remember the game last night. Here comes Burley, bloodied, bruised. Doffs his cap. The big crowd. And he exits with a 5-1 lead. Now it's up to the Marlins bullpen. Is done. Miami has a 5-1 lead, and the hero at the end of the ball game last night is in. This was the pitch-by-pitch tying run, scoring position. Melky Cabrera up, hottest hitter on the planet. Started with a strike.
Got the backdoor slider for strike one. Missed fastball, missed slider, missed there. came back with the slider. That was probably the best pitch for Cabrera to hit. And that's a huge confidence builder, too, for Steve Cishek.
But you know what, though? None of those pitches look like hittable pitches. As a hitter, you go up there going, wow, I can't hit that slider. And he threw the sinker nowhere close. So, really 3 good pitches by Cishek last night.
And that was
close out that game.
That was the plan by Ozzie Guillen and Randy St. Clair. They told Cishek, you don't have to give in to Cabrera. If you're going to miss out. Don't miss on the inner half. And that's exactly what he did.
This is really interesting because it's a completely different situation with a runner at third, but just representing the second run in a 5-1 game.
Right. He's so comfortable with this type of situation. And as a hitter, you're never comfortable. And I think that's the one thing about Cishek that I like is that he throws that sinker, and when his fastball is really on, it makes that slider even more devastating.
Yeah, with a 5-1 lead, he's certainly not going to pitch around Cabrera here. He's got to go right after him. Because if he hits a 2-run homer, he hits a 2-run homer.
You care less.
You just don't want to put him on and have Posey hit a 3-run homer.
You can attest to this, Cliff. I forget who told me this. Left-handed hitter recently was saying that Cishek, because of his delivery, you're not used to seeing a guy with that delivery throw as hard as he does. Usually it's a guy that throws a little softer.
Right, and the guys that throw a little softer throw the ball more of the middle of the plate, Tommy. And with Cishek, it doesn't happen that much. And this is what you know him to get on that slider. Sort of bores in on your hands.
Morrison figures he'll let Cishek come over and try the Burley drill. And he does. Scoring is Terrio. Cabrera drives in a run, but he's 0 for 4, which is breaking news. Because not only does he have the most hits in baseball, but he's on pace to get over 50 hits this month.
They had a note, it's a little early for this note, I think, but that he's on pace for 240 hits. he had 201 last year. But as even more of note is the fact that he was 0 for 3 against Burley.
Well, the run scoring does one thing. Makes it 5-2, and it makes the ball game, if it stays 5-2 in the 9th, a save situation. We asked the question last inning, who closes? The safety net was Cishek.
Here's the frustrating part about that. Prior to last night, Heath Bell had some terrific outings. He'd saved 4 of the last 5. He'd saved 3 in a row.
But when you're a team desperate for wins, you have to go with your best guys. And if Heath Bell's the guy that you go with tonight, it's what you want to see because he is definitely the closer. But when you need wins like the Marlins do, I think Ozzie has to go with the best guy, in that situation. You probably won't necessarily call it, bullpen by committee, but you definitely have to have the guy out there with the best opportunity to give you a chance to win the ball game.
And I think today is probably going to be Heath Bell. The twist, though, is the safety net of Steve Cishek will already have pitched.
Yeah, and with Cishek being so young, you look at the situation that happened with the Yankees and David Robinson when Big Mo went down, sort of was like a deer in headlights, didn't close games out, and then eventually got hurt. You want Cishek to go out there and feel good about his role, and his role has basically been the 7th, 8th inning guy, 8th inning guy moving forward. And Heath Bell understands. I saw him going, coming up today, and he said, you know what, we winning. But the key to them winning is him going out there and closing out the games. If he gets back to where he was, even last year, regardless of the situation with him moving around with, getting traded, the Marlins will be fine.
Breaking ball, ground ball. Infante to his left, Lomo to his spot at first. In time, Cishek finishes. Giants get a run in the 8th. It's 5-2 now. in Miami. You can follow the Marlins or your favorite Major League team with the MLB.com at-bat 12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at-bat to 31826 or visit Marlins.com for details. Don't wait as long as that guy has. Call today.
Crowd starting to understand the Giancarlo factor. You know, some places maybe you'd see a few people start heading to the parking lot, but they knew that Giancarlo was leading this inning off.
I don't want to miss it.
Pair of doubles and a walk. He scored twice. Both of his hits came against Madison Bumgarner. Home run rates. How many at-bats do you have before you hit a home run? Right now he's at 15. Nissan league leaders. Carlos Beltran having a big year. So is the former Hurricane Ryan Braun. It's too bad the Marlins won't see. Well, it's too bad Giancarlo Stanton won't see Madison Bumgarner anymore. In his career now against Bumgarner, he is 6 for 8 with 5 doubles.
I know Bumgarner happy.
Yeah. Posey sets up out. Came back over the plate. Over the middle. Burris streaking to it. And he gets there and throws him out. 1 out. Bottom of the 8th. And here comes Logan Morrison. In this ball game, lefties were on the menu to start with. Mark Buehrle, 7 1/3 in the books. 2 earned runs. 8 hits. No walks. 3 strikeouts. And probably what? 3 really nice defensive plays. The leaping catch to start the rundown, the ball that he knocked down, got and threw out, and then the crash and burn at first to get the out.
Just the fact that he didn't walk anybody. That's the perfect example of how Mark Buehrle wins.
Yeah, he didn't walk anybody, but on the flip side, you see Bumgarner, when you talk about, Rich, the great play Buehrle made, flip side of that, Bumgarner didn't get the play over there, and it cost him 2 runs early in the game.
Yeah, that was the Morrison ground ball. It's a great point. Bruce Bochy probably will point that out in his post-game press conference. Jeremy Affeldt finishing his warm-up tosses out of the bullpen for the Giants. Affeldt's numbers. Big crowd here. Probably just over 30,000 to watch the Marlins and the Giants on a Saturday afternoon. And Logan Morrison stands in. Nobody on, 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Morrison's driven in 2 runs. One with that fielder's choice ground ball. Another on a double, and Morrison started to swing. Eduardo Perez spoke truth, Tommy. He told us a couple days ago, don't be surprised if Logan Morrison doesn't start breaking out pretty quickly.
Well, he's really been working with him on keeping him from wrapping the bat a little bit too much. And Cliff pointed out early, a lot of times the left-hander can come out of it against the left-hander. The Giants have some tough lefties. I mean, not only the starter Bumgarner, but between Affeldt and Javier Lopez, they're tough.
They're tough because you cannot pull off against them, or you give yourself no chance. So that's the one thing that Lomo's done today is look fastball and take advantage of it when he's gotten the ball up.
Affeldt now working on Donovan Solano, who's a nice story himself in this ball game. First major league start at a position he never played before. Well, he played 3 innings at single A once.
In A-ball.
He gets to start in left field, and he drove in the first run of the game with an RBI single in the second.
And has held his own out there in left field. It made some good, got some good balls, backhand the one down the line early in the game, made a good throw to second. I mean, he had to hurry up and make that throw. And was actually on point, came up a little short. The ball in the gap, later in the game was something he got to the ball, still made the right throw to second base. I mean, overall good day.
Sometimes a player comes up in a system where he's blocked by a certain position player. We talk about guys that were coming up on the corners in the Cubs organization with Derek Lee at first and Aramis Ramirez at third. Casey McGee was the guy that was blocked at third base by Aramis Ramirez. You think about Donovan Solano in the Cardinals organization. The Cardinals have thrived on versatile infielders, the Skip Schumachers, the Daniel Descalzos, Brendan Ryans, guys like that were always at Tony La Russa's disposal, and those were kind of the guys that were in front of Solano.
And it's tough too, because when you see that, you want the opportunity, but when you have guys in front of you, they're going to get a chance to play. You can always book your flight, book that ticket to Louisville as with the Cardinals. But you just keep trucking, you just keep going and keep going out there and playing your game, playing the right way, fundamentally sound baseball. Now he's adding another position to his repertoire. The fact that he can play left field, that actually adds. Now Ozzie won't feel so bad. Hey, let's put Solano in and get him in left field. Maybe move him over to right field when need be. Those type of things happen when you get to the big leagues. Everything goes. And as you see with this team, with the fact that you have Bonifacio out for a little while, and you're moving guys around a little bit, everybody's gonna get a chance to play.
Drives that ball in the shallow center. It's going to fall for a base hit. Morrison got deked, and no one was at second. Pagan put the glove up, and he deked Morrison, who stopped. But the middle infielders, Terrio and Burris, were already lined up for the relay throw to third.
And what has Solano done? Picked up his second base hit of the day, 2 for 4. A little bit on the end of the bat. Good job by Pagan, though, with the deke, but he didn't have anybody to throw it to.
Little deep, but that was a full swing by Solano. And you look at this play right here, Pagan stood, he actually took a step back for 1 second, and then he came in, but still deep. If somebody was there, he had a good chance to throw him out of second base. But that's the patented move out there in the outfield. When you can't catch a ball, you put the glove up. That was my favorite move because I didn't get to a lot of balls.
That was almost an automatic, right? Anything hit?
Anything, just put the glove up and then, hey.
And then pretty soon guys just started to say, Cliff's not digging, he can't catch it.
And he can't throw.
Solano and Morrison. Coughlin up there with a count 0-1 facing Affeldt. We've seen Bell ready in the bullpen, and that should add some drama to the ninth. 5-2, Miami on top. Bell's ready to go. See if the location is zeroed in against the Giants. You want to say this afternoon because the game started at 4, but it's evening now. It's 6:30. It's getting close to dinner time. Coughlin, a soft liner, and Burris has nowhere to go with it. Rather Arias after he made the catch. So there are 2 outs. Marlins Live, as always, presented by Checkers. Highlights of this one, interviews, and a recap of today's game right here on Fox Sports Florida. That's Marlins Live. 5-2 Fish. Here is Buck. He's 0 for 2 with an intentional walk. I know it wasn't a hit, but it probably felt like one for John Buck to have that sacrifice fly in the 6th inning of last night's game. He was 0 for 2 last night. He's 0 for 2 in this one. And so he's still riding a 1 for 24 with 10 strikeouts. Chad Godin is up just in case the Marlins get a couple runs here.
John Buck sort of thinking a little bit too much right now at the plate, but he's still calling a good game. And that's one thing you always have to take home, which is the fact that you might not be hitting, but you can still call a good game and you know, and get your boys a win.
Affelt steps off. Posey on his way out. Bruce Bochy, the Giants are back tomorrow. 1:10 start. Ricky Nolasco, Matt Cain. Rematch of a game from early in May. That's the twist to this series, is that the Marlins went on their nice run starting in San Francisco, starting on the 1st of May, and it was Cain against Nolasco on that May 1st, and Miami had a 2-1 win. Ricky in San Francisco, so good. 4-0 with an ERA of under 1.
You know, I had a chance to do pre and post for that. And, you know, I was just looking at the stats of all the guys, not just Ricky, but Anibal had great stats against the Giants. And, you know, it's something, it's nothing with the park. It's just, you know, you feel good on the mound. You know, whether it's, you know, the backstop is close and, you know, it's enclosed and everybody, you feel closer to the action, whatever it is, the guys just go there and they pitch great.
After 2-2. Foul to the plate. Well, it's a complete reversal from last year. Last year, the Marlins swept the Giants and had the second best record in the National League, and then had one of the worst Junes in baseball history. Not Marlins history, baseball history. This year, sweep of San Francisco, and the Marlins have gone in the opposite direction.
That's what sweeps do. Win a series, feel good about yourself, go on a good run, win some games, and that's how you made and turns around from April.
The Marlins reached 5-23 last June.
That's one of the worst Junes in baseball history.
Yeah, it is.
Tough pill to swallow.
And you saw that on that last note that 17 wins in May is a record for May. The record in any month in Marlins history is 19. And that came in the great charge in August of '97.
And after this game, still 4 more games in the month of May.
Buck swings and misses and strikes out. Heath Bell will be summoned with a 5-2 Miami lead in the 9th. arrived. The Marlins deliver a 3-run lead, and they're hopeful that Heath Bell's stuff will better than last night. Last night he was up, and guys, he got knocked around pretty good.
You know, Cliff, we've seen this. He's had the stuff all year, and when he's kept the stuff down, he's had success. When it's been up, he's gotten in trouble.
And that's the one thing that hitters look for is guys, you know, when Heath Bell comes in the game, is the ball up? You know, you're too comfortable. You know, it's always a negative for Heath Bell, and that's been his problem this year. Guys are feeling too comfortable against him.
To Bell's credit, he stayed in the dugout, and he was one of the first out to congratulate Steve Cishek, who came in and struck out Melky Cabrera to end the ball game and seal a 7-6 win. Now, Bell had a 3-run lead going into the 9th last night. Brian Peterson comes into the game. Peterson is in center field. And I would expect that's a double switch, and Peterson will be in the 9 spot.
Good move by Ozzie. Get Solano out the game. He had a good game. Get your defensive guys out there. And hopefully Heath Bell you know, can have a 1-2-3 inning.
He gets Angel Pagan, Brett Hill, and Joaquin Arias. First pitch. Outside corner, a strike. Crowd trying to get him through it too. Still waiting on attendance, but in all likelihood, right around 30,000, maybe a little more. The 0-1.
You know, the one thing I was with Heath Bell in 2009. The one thing that I saw from him, his velocity was up. He felt good about himself. It made his other pitches that much better. And I think that's the one thing that I've seen this year that's been different is the fact that his velocity is down a little bit, and you know he's not hitting his spots.
Talking to Mike Krukow, the analyst for the San Francisco Giants, who has seen an awful lot of Bell. And he said just watching last night, location, he was always a guy that lived around the knees.
Belt high fastball, middle of the plate.
And the ball's not moving. So when the ball's not moving a little bit, you have to have pinpoint control.
Now you see where pitch 3 was. Brandon Belt pinch hitting for Brett Hill. Big breaking ball. The Marlins are not holding Angel Pagan on. He'll take second on indifference. Belt had an RBI single against Bell last night. Couple curveballs for strikes, and it's 0-2.
A little different look for Belt seeing that breaking ball.
Well, you have to pitch backwards sometimes when you don't have your best stuff. Pitch backwards and try to have some success that way.
Pagan is at second. 3 consecutive breaking balls, and it's 1-2. John Buck out to talk to him.
Yeah, right now it's a catcher's job too to try to work with Heath Bell, to work him through this.
You know, Tommy, I mean, you had the situation when a guy comes in and I don't think Heath Bell does this enough. Throw the ball inside enough to get you off the plate a little bit, get you uncomfortable from a left-handed standpoint.
Well, there's one that did come inside and flipped off the knob of the bat.
I like that because now I'm thinking about the inside half, and it makes my curveball, if you're going to throw it out a half, that much more effective. A lot of things come into play when you don't have success. You have so many more things to talk about. And there's one little thing that's very simple that he's doing wrong. And then, of course, Tommy, you allude to a little bit. He's keeping the ball up. And I don't care what you say. Anytime you have major league hitters seeing balls that's up in the zone, it's going to get smacked around.
1-2. Breaking ball, lined right. Stanton there, makes the catch. 1 out in the 9th. The cold, hard facts brought to you by Coors Lights. Giants Marlins, since late July 2010, the Marlins have won 9 of 12, and they've only outscored the Giants by 3 runs. So a lot of close games. Giants have won a couple blowouts. Bell misses outside. That fly ball ends up in the seats. The count 1-1 to Joaquin Arias. Aubrey Huff is pulled in on deck.
A couple of those opportunities that Heath Bell had when he closed out games and picked up saves. He was 94, 95. Now he's more 92, 93.
And it's straight, Tom. And, you know, like I said, if you're not hitting your spots and you have a fastball that's straight, it's going to get hit around. And his curveball is you know, what he wants to be today. It's on point. He's throwing it he's throwing it for strikes and he's keeping it down. Sometimes you have to go with that a little bit more when your fastball is not what you like it to be.
1-2. Two and two.
If he went in fastball to set up this next breaking ball.
Misses high with a fastball. Now Heath Bell glanced down at the bullpen a couple pitches ago. There is a Marlin throwing, and it's Chad Godin, so you would expect that's just to get work. I think if Ozzie had a safety net down there right now, it would not be Godin. He's used Cishek, and Bell loses Arias, and now he's going to face a guy that can tie it up with one swing in Aubrey Huff.
The one guy he has to get ready is Randy Choate, because they got some left-handers.
But you know, you talked about the fastball in, and we've talked about it a couple times already. You know, when you throw that fastball in, if you have a good curveball as he has today, that we've seen, then you might want to see that pitch in one of those situations when you throw 3 straight fastballs up.
Look at these numbers: 4 for 7 with a homer. Bell's been up. Huff can lose one. In fact, Huff hit a ball yesterday that he thought was out of here. That was in the 2nd inning, and he ended up getting just a single on a ball that bounced off the wall in right.
Wrong place to think you could hit a home run.
And right now the Marlins bullpen is scrambling, and Buck's going to go stall for time. Edward Mujica and Randy Choate.
And Randy St. Clair is going to head out there to help them stall a little bit more.
And so these type of things you can have when you have, you know, when you have a bullpen like the Marlins do. These type of things you know you can ill afford to have, because you know, you go to burn guys out. Guys are not going to know, you know, when to get ready, and that is always big, in my opinion, having guys know their situations. But you know, sometimes it doesn't go the way you like it to go, as we've seen with the fact that with the injuries and all that, and you have to make do with what you have. And I think Heath Bell understands that. He still has the right attitude, and that's the one thing you have to love, is that when you see him, he's still smiling. He's still saying, you know, hey, how you doing to everybody. He stays in the dugout when he comes out the game. He's doing all the right things. But at this level, you need results.
You saw Ozzie Guillen. He's not smiling. He slammed the cover of the phone down. The 2-0 pitch is up, and it's 3-0.
And I'll tell you what, if he loses Huff right here, he's out. I mean, Ozzie can't continue to have this happen. Ozzie's as frustrated as anybody.
I agree with you. And if it's Shearholtz that's coming up, you're going to see Randy Choate. Bags are loaded. There's a strike. 5-2 Miami. And Heath Bell again is struggling, trying to shut the door on San Francisco. A single by Pagan, a liner to right by Belt for an out, and a walk of Arias. And now it's 3-1 on Aubrey Huff, who is stone cold, but is still Aubrey Huff.
stone cold or not, in these type of situations, when you know you're going to get a fastball 92, 93 that's pretty straight, it can get you out of funk pretty quickly.
He's still a guy who has 242 career home runs.
Crowd trying to get Bell through it. Mujica and Choate are ready. 3-2 coming. That's out. He's lost him. He's loaded the bases. Guillen is on his way out. And for the second consecutive game, he'll wait. You saw Joey Cora say wait. He's got to wait until Schierholtz is announced. Now he's going to come out and he's going to get Randy Choate. Second consecutive game in less than 24 hours with a 3-run lead in the ninth. Ozzie Guillen has had to come out and get his closer. Bags are loaded. The Giants haven't scored a run yet, but Guillen is taking no chances. And Bell, who was booed last night, is hearing from the Marlin fans today. Is one of
myself
them right
included. Rich.
Ozzie been pacing after making the change. Randy Choate comes in. Nate Schierholtz, the left-handed bat, announced, and he stays in there. Brandon Crawford pinch runs at first base, and Choate enters with the bags loaded, 1 out, and the Giants down by 3. And here is Schierholtz. He has power as well. The red-hot Gregor Blanco is on deck. And Bell can only watch now. Breaking ball from Choate. It's 0-1.
Randy Choate, as you check on the runners in his long career, has just 5 saves. And all of those saves came in 09 with the Rays.
Breaking ball, fly ball right. Stanton is there. Everybody tags. Giancarlo makes the catch. His throw goes to the cutoff man. Giants cash in a run. Marlins get the out. It's 5-3. So Schierholtz delivers. And now Choate has to get Gregor Blanco, who has 3 hits in this ball game and 8 hits in this series.
But the one thing you like about Choate, Rich, is the fact that he come in throwing strikes. You have to come in throwing strikes, knowing the situation, and that's what it boils down to.
You know what? Sometimes, Cliff, it looks like he throws better strikes to left-handed hitters too than right-handers.
He's sort of a side armor too, but he goes away from you, and that's why you see Schierholtz in that situation sort of flail left at that ball. And that's what that's why Choate's been so effective against lefties. He's always tough. I don't care if he's close to the plate or not. he makes it tough on you.
Breaking ball, outside corner, strike one.
Think about last night, Rich. It was Cishek against the hottest hitter in baseball, Melky Cabrera. And today it's Choate against the hottest hitter maybe in this series, Gregor Blanco.
We saw Blanco's numbers against lefties very good this year. Another breaking ball, another strike. Crowd on their feet. Last night it was Steve Cishek. Today they're hoping it's Randy Choate. Oh, 2. Got him! Ball game! 5-3. It wasn't easy. Choate comes to the rescue. And the Marlins beat the Giants for the second time in a wobbly ninth inning. Ozzie Guillen with a sigh of relief heads to the clubhouse. And Choate picks up save number 6. Nice day all around. Logan Morrison, Giancarlo Stanton, Donovan Solano, Hanley Ramirez, all with big RBIs.
Cliff, looked like maybe a backup breaking ball.
Yes, it was. Tough pitch for a lefty to hit. Ball doesn't come back over the dish. You think it's going to come back. You know, in that situation, Randy Choate knows exactly what he's doing. But how many times are you going to be able to do this and come out with 2 victories?
And the pattern on that, his first pitch breaking ball, out. Next pitch, middle. Next pitch, in. And he got 3 strikes, and that's it. We'll wrap it up when we return to Miami. Marlins win it 5-3. They beat the Giants.